Welcome into the LFC transfer room. We've got myself, Jack, and Maddie here today after one of the biggest wins and most important matches in the Jurgen Klopp era. Liverpool heading to Manchester, needing 3 points to stay in the top four race, and they came away with a 4-2 victory. Maddie, myself here. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Your man of the match. Your excitement. You're allowed to celebrate. Top four is still on. And Maddie, what did you say to me right when we got into the call?
Top four is on. It's definitely on. I've been confident all season that we'll still get it, but it's just ironic, isn't it? That last season we all knew that we'd won the league with that Salah goal against United. And for me, I just feel like that Salah goal against United is going to be the point we look back on this season and think it's when we got top four.
Yeah.
I know it's not. I know it's different, like the league and top four, but it's still a little win in this poor season, isn't it? So I think it's boss the way that it's panned out, and I do think we'll get top four. The whole team's superb today, all 10 out of 10s for me. Even that Phillips, even though he made a mistake, I'm just buzzing to see the Reds score some goals again, to be honest.
I know it was a weird change. Usually we struggle scoring, converting our chances. Today it was just we couldn't really defend. We were quite leaky at the back. Obviously the own goal trying to stop with Phillips, but he avenged his mistake by assisting the first Jota goal, and then just Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, Caleb has Trent as his man of the match. Lee talking about how good Trent's been, and he's my man of the match. Maddie, I'll spoil it. What were your thoughts on Trent's performance?
Form is temporary, class is permanent, and Trent's just proved that. He was world class again today. Trent, he is the best right back in the world, and he always seems to perform. And Gareth Southgate's watching. Do you know what? I hope he tells Gareth Southgate to fuck off when the Euro selection comes in the summer, because he's world class, and Gareth Southgate doesn't have a clue leaving him out.
You know, I was listening to the American NBC broadcast, and the color guy was talking about how he didn't think that Trent would make the team. He didn't think Trent would make the team. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? There's no way you can watch this match and see how otherworldly he is and do anything otherwise. Are we getting a guest appearance from Chris Stonage?
He's out.
We have a happy birthday first.
Boys, I'm only going to be here for a second, but I've seen nothing. But I'm buzzing up the fucking Reds. Come on!
Thank you for the guest appearance there, Chris. Tremendous to see him as always. Chris's birthday, so everyone, wish happy birthday to Chris. I think I agree with Diogo that Nat Phillips, he was shaky. I mean, he wasn't 100% because he's not the greatest defender in the world, but he did what he had to do. He had the goal line clearance, he had the assist. I thought he was all right. And I agree with you, Maddie. All 10 out of 10s everywhere on the field.
And you know what? I was made up to see Bobby score a few. For Bobby to get a brace, like, everyone loves Bobby, and seeing Bobby decline, I think it hurts everyone that just a little bit. And just to see him bag 2 goals, see that smile back, it's just boss. And I just hope we get Champions League football. Like, I think the future depends on it, and that's a big game. It's a big step. The rest of the games on paper, Liverpool should be looking at winning. Like, West Brom could have been tough, but now because they went down, I think it makes that game a bit easier. We've got something to play for. They haven't.
Let's circle in this Caleb comment. We haven't beat Man United in their backyard since 2014, and we did it with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams at the back. No disrespect to them, but we're trying to play a high line, and it was a tough watch a lot of the time. Mentality monsters. Are they back, Maddie?
Yeah, it's because we've got Jurgen Klopp as the manager. Anything's possible. He said it, didn't he? In against when we won Barcelona, he said usually he'd say it's impossible with that group of players. Anything's possible, and since then it's always just resonated with me that a little bit. Like, this group of players can achieve anything. I've seen them achieve madness. Like, nothing now makes me think. Nothing shocks me. Like, if we get Champions League football this year, I won't be shocked. I really will not be shocked.
I'm gonna bring in Ben. Ben, you know, usually I don't want to call you a negative Nancy, but usually you're more pessimistic. What are your thoughts?
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was positive in the group chat last night. I was positive about this game. I could see us doing it.
Who was your man of the match, Ben?
Oh God, Trent. I think
all three of us agreed on that.
If Southgate looks at this performance, because he was in the stands, and he looks at this and he thinks, I mean, Trent, England don't need Trent. I mean, fair enough. That's what he thinks. I mean, I'm happy to keep Trent, you know.
Well, Van Dijk's not going, is he? So keep Trent there. Just keep them all there.
But he's mad if he thinks after this performance,
You know,
he doesn't deserve to go to the Euros.
I mentioned this to Maddie, but the American broadcast, they said that the color guy, I forget what his name was, he said that he thinks Reece Williams, or Reece James, not Reece Williams, Reece James, Kyle Walker, I believe Kieran Trippier, right, are all ahead of him in the pecking order.
But this is the thing that does me. I think because Trippier's been banned for months. So how's the saying Trent's had a bad season, Trippier hasn't played? So like, it makes no sense. At all.
At the end of the day, I'm Hungarian, so who cares? And Matty Scouse and Jack's American. So
I'm American.
Exactly. But
I want to bring up this comment really quick.
I wanted to
happiness.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's go with that.
I just think that it's been so long since we've had just a moment like this. But this match, you know, we went down. We got hit first in the boxing fight, but we took it and we bounced back, and just unbelievably happy after that match. Ben, I interrupted what you were saying.
I wanted to bring up a point about the match commentators, Gary Neville and everyone was talking about how United were missing Harry Maguire and how it was such a huge loss, how it was such a big loss to their defense. Where has that been about Liverpool? And why weren't they talking about the fact that we were playing with Reece Williams and that thing? Just so ironic.
You know, I think if it had been Van Dijk was injured last week, there would have been so much. It's like, how many times does Gary Neville want to say they're missing Van Dijk? He's been doing that for several months now. But I mean, you know what? Actually, I'm going to give a bit of credit. I have been one of Harry Maguire's biggest critics. I know this is going to be kind of weird at this time. They missed him a lot. And I think that it speaks volumes to how well he's done for them. That they actually.
I think Harry Maguire is just the best of a bad bunch.
I agree.
To be honest, like, he's terrible himself, slabhead.
But to be fair, you know, I was always kind of confident about this game because we tend to do well against the big teams. Now it's like the Burnleys and the Crystal Palaces and that sort of teams that we have to prove ourselves against. So
those are our next three games. It's West Brom, Palace, or
I said on Red or Dead though before, I said Liverpool have been better away from home this year, and United have been as bad as Liverpool. Even they've only got as many points at home this season as Liverpool have, and we've been terrible at home. So I was quietly confident myself, and I do think we'll get top four. Because I think Leicester will probably beat Chelsea, and I think it'll be Chelsea who get fifth. But then I do think Chelsea will probably win the Champions League. So
the thing is, I think there's a scenario where Leicester beat Chelsea, but then Leicester lose to Tottenham because I don't know. I can just see Tottenham nicking it on the counter against Leicester as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as I said, I feel like this was, in some weird, bizarre way, this season especially, probably our easiest game in terms of the fixtures because we tend to do well against the big teams. Now the task is to break down those low blocks and low defences. And I think
West Brom's got nothing to play for this weekend, though, have they? So that's what I think might be a bit different.
Like you saw, United didn't really have anything to play for, and I feel like they did kind of hold back at the end. You know, it wasn't like full throttle.
Yeah.
What's the financial difference between second and third? Because they aren't guaranteed second yet. United, Leicester, like
it is actually. It's quite a hefty sum of money. You know, it's like it's not crazy money, but it's like a couple £1 million easily. And I mean, that's something to brush off. You know, especially in the pandemic. So I can imagine that they're not going to want to let up.
I mean, they got an easy last two games. So
I think for them, though, they don't really care about second or third. I mean, they're comfortable. They just want to get fit for the Villarreal match. Rashford, I mean, there was a moment in the match where Robertson chased down Rashford, who had like a yard or two extra space on him, and he chased him down. And Robertson's quick, obviously, but Rashford just looks like he's not fit. Like he's been injured for a long time.
With Robertson, though, and the whole team today, it just felt like we had 10% extra all over the park than United. Like and you can't even say they played 2 days ago because a lot of them didn't play.
Yeah,
Yeah, Liverpool just felt like Liverpool again.
I agree.
It just like this season, Robertson's been, I'd say, most consistent, but he's also made a lot of mistakes. But he just felt like he had that extra 10% on Rashford every time today, and yeah, we can see the 2 goals. But I just think across the park, Liverpool's super today.
You can't. I mean, the first goal was so unlucky. Like you can't
Yeah.
really fault Nat Phillips for that. And the second goal, it's Fernandez. He's good at playing those through balls. Can't really fault the defenders for either of those goals. I thought Reece and Nat, for what they are, they did really well. Especially remembering that game at Old Trafford earlier this season when I think they played. That was the centre-back partnership, and you can see how much they've matured and grown, and that experience really helped them, I think, in this game because they were class. Couldn't fault either of them, really. I mean, that little run from Nat Phillips for Jota's goal, you gotta love that determination and that pass. That was a clever pass. I think that's kind of underrated, that pass that he played across to Jota.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I think we're going to say it for the next few weeks if we manage to get top 4, how huge this win has turned out to be. I mean, because so here's just an update on what the table currently situation is. So Liverpool sit in 5th place with 35 matches played, 4 points behind Chelsea, who have played 36, and 6 behind Leicester, who have played 36 as well. So if Liverpool win against West Brom on Sunday, then that means going into the Tuesday match next week when Leicester and Chelsea play, Liverpool will be 1 point and 3 points behind. So whichever side drops points offers the chance for Liverpool to try and catch up. Because a draw means Liverpool go past Chelsea. Chelsea win means Liverpool.
When are we playing our games? What dates?
I'm going to pull that up. So we play on Sunday.
I think it's Sunday, Tuesday. Yeah, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday. I'm confident. It's a decent run-in, to be fair. I know we've been poor against lesser teams this year, but
yeah,
the
22nd is my birthday, so if we can get the day after, if we can get a win and get top 4, I'd be really happy with that.
That'd be a great birthday gift. Great birthday gift.
I do think we get top 4. I'm confident of it because I just think Chelsea's will go off the bar a little bit towards the end of the season. They're focusing on a Champions League final. If Thomas Tuchel wins the Champions League final there, he's going to build him. You know what I mean? He's going to just do this massive for them. So, but then Chelsea's season could go completely terribly wrong. They could finish 5th, get beat by City, and not be in the Champions League next year.
That would be insane. Yeah. That would be such a fall.
And then you'd be talking about Tuchel and should he keep his job?
Yeah, it's crazy. And he could be one of the greatest Chelsea managers, or he could lose his job. It's mad.
See, okay, I also want to make a quick point. This, again, Super League is still fresh. This is why it's so important that it was gone. Because I don't know, people make fun of the top 4. They say it's like a marketing strategy.
You say it's gone. No, they're now taking FIFA and UEFA to court, saying that they're basically being a cartel and that, aren't they? So they're still trying. They're still trying.
I think Jack's point is good though, because this is what makes, even though the Premier League is decided, this is what makes it still interesting. The league's still interesting because there's not just the league title and relegation that people are fighting for. There's European places and all that sort of competition.
Yeah.
Which the Super League just eliminates all of that.
I mean, it's... Yeah. Actually, I agree, Matt, that Trent being left out of the squad, he's been huge since that international break. He looked fitter. I think he's been much more creative. And today, the amount of chances he was creating was unbelievable. He had Matt, you said it.
Form is 10 free classes for him.
Thank you. That just embodies it. I think that was... I agree with you, Matt. That was a really actually big turning point there. I didn't see the Mane Klopp interaction after the match. Have you guys seen anything about that?
Apparently, Mane refused to shake his hand. But I don't know. You want winners, though, don't you? You'll be fuming that in one of arguably our biggest games of the season. He's been left on the bench when he did score in the last game. So your players are going to be upset, but the amount of times we've had little conflicts like that, and they get sorted out the next day in the dressing room. So I'm not really that bothered.
I think. Do you think people are making it a bigger deal than it is? Because
Yeah, they always do. Remember the Salah and Mane one? That was all over the papers, and it was
in
sad.
a way, Mane's kind of out of form. Maybe people kind of, because there's rumors about Sancho, and even though Klopp said recently in his press conference there's not going to be, I think he mentioned Sancho specifically as Liverpool are not going to be making those big money transfer moves. And do you think people are making it out like, kind of justifying why they want sort of Mane to leave, or like, because look, he's kind of, just he's not getting on the Klopp anymore. Maybe people are justifying it in their heads, like subconsciously, and that's why they're making it a big deal out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Here, I'll take a quick look at this real quick.
I mean, I'm not overly bothered by it. To be honest with you, like, also, if Mane goes and Sancho comes in, I'd be a bit gutted because I love Mane, but long term, it makes sense, really, doesn't it? Mane's 28, 29, Sancho's 21, 22.
Yeah.
So there is going to be changes in the next few years, so he's got to accept them. And if Mane's unhappy and there is a sign that he's going, then so be it. So
you just have to look at Sancho's performance today. I don't know if you guys saw his first goal in the cup just before our game. I had the TV on, and he's an unbelievable player, man. Wherever I mean, if he comes to the Premier League, I hope it's coming. He'll be coming to Liverpool because, oh my.
I echo this comment though. Like, if he was, if he was happy sitting on the bench, that's when you're concerned. If he's someone like Origi who's made up to be sitting on the bench and looks fuming to come on, but that's when you should be concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just so look at the Mane thing really quick. It's right after a match. It's basically like I'll reenact it really quick. So like you have Klopp walking around like a tall guy, and then you have Sadio like interacts with McTominay, and like looks over his shoulder, and like Klopp goes to, like, I don't know, dap him up, and then Sadio kind of like throws something and kind of just walks off. So
I
believe so. I mean, Jack's probably the expert at this who's looked at it, but I believe so.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to actually do a video after we're done recording this, after we're done this live stream, looking at the schedules, the potential scenarios. I mean, the simple thing is Liverpool win 3 games, you have the best chances. It's just as simple as that. You drop points in any of the matches, and it's really hard to see yourself getting in. So the simple answer is you make it easy for yourself, because Leicester City and Chelsea both cannot get 3 points in their match together. And that means that Liverpool only need to pass one of them to get into the top 4. So
what would a draw do? So
the draw would mean that we would be 2 points behind Chelsea going into the Wednesday match if we win
with a game in hand.
So we would pass Chelsea even if there was a draw. So that means a draw would be the most awkward in my opinion, because it would leave both sides with a great chance. Yeah, I agree, Chedu, that the Rashford goal I literally was just thinking, like, man, that we're about to bottle this, aren't we?
My heart was
Matt's right with this. If we do win all 3, we guaranteed top 4.
Actually, there is one scenario where Chelsea beat Leicester, but then Leicester have a better goal difference than us, because we would only be level with Leicester. So it's not like 100% guaranteed if we win all 3. Because if they say Chelsea beat Leicester, and Leicester's goal difference is currently 21, Liverpool's is 20. Say they lose by 1 goal, and then they smash.
Goes down to head-to-head first, though, doesn't it? So
it goes to goal difference, then
it's only in like the other leagues that's head-to-head.
It's goal difference, then head-to-head. I think we're equal on head-to-head, aren't we? And then I think it's goals scored, and they are 4 goals ahead of us in terms of goals scored.
The best case scenario is they draw then, and Chelsea wins.
I think
Leicester. You want Leicester to win.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I'm not going to ignore those matches.
I see Chelsea winning, but
let's not forget Chelsea are playing Aston Villa as well.
Yeah.
What's the goal difference between us?
So the goal differences are Leicester City 21, Chelsea 22, us 20.
And that's a 1 goal. 1 goal difference.
I think a Chelsea or Leicester win is the best thing for us because
Yeah, it is because
the
that
draw
means
would still give us a good like say we draw 1 and Chelsea had lost to Leicester, we still could feasibly get top 4, I think.
yeah.
So 7, 3. Yeah. So if our goal difference is better than Chelsea, we could win 2, draw 1. So the best case is Leicester win. But again,
If Chelsea beat Leicester, it'd go down to goal difference.
And we're only 1 goal away from Leicester, which we can do.
Yeah.
Technically. We should. Touching wood,
you know
a draw or a Leicester win guarantees is it no matter what, providing we win the next 4 games. Basically, if Chelsea win, and it could then go down to goal difference, but Chelsea have then got to play Villa as well, so it's a lot. They've got a harder run in.
And let's not forget Leicester, as I said before, Tottenham. I mean, that's also
on the final day of the season, so it could go down to the final day, which is interesting. But I think we'll get top 4. This team have fought bigger challenges in the past. They can definitely win 3 more cup finals against West Brom, Palace, and whoever else.
Also, I think what we're forgetting is before that, this weekend, Chelsea and Leicester have got to play in the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
Which is a huge game. So it'll be really weird because they got 2 huge games against each other.
Yeah.
And it's within a few days of each other as well. Like I think the FA Cup final is on a Sunday and then they're playing on a Tuesday or something. Mm-hmm. So it'll be really interesting to see what sort of sides they line up with, because you'd imagine there would be some rotation, but at the same time, both teams are really fighting for the top 4.
Yeah.
So, are we concerned in these next 3 matches? West Brom away, Burnley away.
I have to admit, I am concerned.
Well, I want revenge on West Brom. I want revenge on Burnley, and then Palace at home. Liverpool usually always win last game of the season.
They were fans over there, right?
Yeah. We'll definitely win Palace 100% because the fans are there.
It's just I think the Burnley one that is the most concerning for me.
Yeah, for me too. I mean, so West Brom already relegated. If we lose or draw points to West Brom, it's just gonna be depressing. I think I agree with Matt that I think Burnley away.
We need a Klavan. We need a Ragnar Klavan.
We do. But I think fundamentally we needed this win. I think that Action Salah goal. Not only was it like Maddie mentioned, I think it was Maddie that said like there was the Salah goal in the title winning year, and then this Salah goal, which could be huge for getting the top 4.
I mean, it reminds me of the Salah goal last season, which was almost kind of.
I said that when we first came on, that it was against United and that got us the league, and this feels like it'll be the game we say got us top 4. Because when Salah again.
Essentially, we're just like on paper, we're better than these teams. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And we just need to prove that. We need to prove that we're mentality monsters, like we were called all these past 2 years. We just need to really put our foot down and fight like we did today, because this performance, I don't know, it's just very inspiring for me, because on all fronts we looked like we were pressing high up the pitch, which we haven't really done recently. And we look that caused United a lot of problems. We need to keep doing that, and I kind of like that our backline sort of dropped back a bit as well. It was nice to see that we weren't playing that sort of really high forward line. It seemed like Klopp's tactical changes actually worked. Like Fabinho did a good job on Fernandes and sort of eliminated his threat. The back 4 dropped back and they dealt well with sort of runs in behind. With Rashford, and then when Greenwood came in, it was a really good tactical performance overall. Mm-hmm. That's what we need to do against next 3 sides.
I want to bring in these 2 of these comments. I was after the Leicester win, there was against Man United. There was so much, especially for Man United fans, like making fun of Liverpool that they're going to be in the Europa League. I mean, first of all, it was kind of funny because they just lost a match to give
also they're playing in the final of the Europa League.
Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy there. But I was sitting there wondering, like, what the hell are you talking about? The top 4 race is not over. This is Liverpool we're talking about. I was like, I was just praying that, like, I obviously have no control of what Liverpool do, and then I can just be angry on Twitter for the next.
It's
12
funny what a few days does to you, isn't it?
Oh my god! After that Leicester match, I was like, man. But I agree with this comment from Matt that how big.
Also, no. The answer is no.
Virgil van Dijk will not leave. It pretty much confirmed it to me by him ruling himself out of Holland to say I want to stay and get fit for Liverpool. I think one of the front three will go if we was to bring someone like Sancho in. But then if one of them did go and we did bring Sancho in, it softens the blow because Sancho's younger, you've got him for more years, etc.
I don't think it would be Salah. Salah is too unaffordable for most clubs at the moment.
Salah's a £180 million player. Easy.
And it's not just his quality. I mean, he is world class, but his marketability, like he's the main face of Adidas at the moment, sometimes over Messi. So there's no way anyone can afford him.
I want to bring up this comment. So Curtis coming on, I think it was actually a really good change. He had the assist for the 4th goal. Oxlade-Chamberlain, was he on the bench? I believe he was on the bench.
No, he was injured.
Never mind.
I don't think his career's done now. I think he'll be a squad player because his missus is pregnant. They don't want to be up sticks in anywhere when she's pregnant. So I don't think his career's done now. I think he's got more to offer. I think he would have played more games this season if we win. Us being short at the back then means he doesn't make many changes in the midfield or like around that because he wants stability around them centre backs.
I just think he needs a full pre-season. You know, like when last season he had that injury and then he came back and he had a full pre-season with us. And last season he was really good after that full pre-season. He scored a lot of important goals for us in the Champions League and a few in the Prem as well. He had a really good season last year. People seem to forget that.
Yeah, really appreciate the comment, Shay. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Celebrate. Enjoy the win. I mean, I think these streams are much easier to do when there's a victory. Like it's almost like there's less engagement when there's a victory because it's like I don't know what's hard to talk about when you win. But like this one is different. This is against our biggest rivals.
I mean, that's a lot to talk about. To be fair, because
let's be negative really quick. So the mom. Enjoy that, Shay. I'm not endorsing anything, but enjoy that. So the Mane snub from Jesse. Have you seen this, Maddie? So basically,
I've just seen it. Like I said, if Mane was made up about being on the bench against Manchester United away from home, one of the biggest games of the season, in the running for top 4, I'd be more concerned. The fact that he's snubbed Klopp, it shows he's fuming that he was on the bench. Just one of them things, isn't it?
You know, I think if he turns it around and doesn't demand a transfer out for a new contract, something like that, and he says, all right, I'm going to prove why I should have started against West Brom and go score a brace or something. That'd be a great, I guess, bounce back there. It's I go back and forth. It probably is nothing. I'm probably over dramatizing it, but Ben, last thoughts on that before we move on to more positive things going forward.
I don't think that. I feel like people are over dramatizing it. I just feel like there's nothing in that. And I'm sure maybe Klopp will get asked that in the press conference and he'll address it. And I'm sure he'll say the same things like, I wouldn't think too much into it. But personally, I think based on Mane's form, and it might be a bit of short-sightedness and I feel bad saying it, but if we can get a Sancho in for Mane, I would.
I'm going to read this quote from the interview. He said, no, there's no problem. This is about Mane. No, there's no problem. I made a late decision yesterday in training to go for Diogo. The boys are used to that. I usually explain these things, but there was no time. It's all fine. So I guess what I interpreted from that quote is he didn't really explain to Mane why he was pulled. He was pulled. Like Firmino was the change there, but I think he wanted to start Firmino against United.
No, but I said on pre-match it was smart playing Bobby because Fabinho will protect that back two and Bobby could drop back into the midfield where Mane, Jota or Salah couldn't. So it was smart from Klopp and it paid off.
Yeah, he got 2 goals. So
yeah. No, I mean, it was the right call. I mean, Klopp was vindicated. I think a lot of these matches this season he's made I mean, he'll make mistakes, right? I mean, we can't pretend like everything he does is perfect. But he's made a lot of good choices that just haven't worked out, where we create a lot of chances, we don't score them. Is that on Klopp? Not really. I mean, he put his players in positions to score goals. They just couldn't do it. That's just the way the sport works. But I'm just absolutely so over the moon with this win, because it means that these last 3 matches have so much more meaning. Because imagine if we had blown the 2-goal lead.
We'd be playing Cade Gordon against Crystal Palace.
We would have, honestly. But it means
even Harvey Elliott, I believe he can still play.
No, he can't, because you can't play for your parent club. I looked at it the other day.
Was that a recent rule? Because I remember when Sergi Canos was on loan at Brentford or Norwich, and then he came back to Liverpool and he made his debut for Liverpool.
I think it must be recent. I seen an article on it the other day. Definitely, that's how I know he can't play.
Fair enough.
Because it wouldn't make sense to throw him in for some minutes and that.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. But I was just saying, as a wild card option, if that was a possibility, why not?
It's better than some of the options we had on the bench today. We had bloody Ben Woodburn on the bench, so
exactly.
It's obviously not done yet, top 4. But talking about who's staying, who's going, potential transfer targets, it's just going to be so much more fun. There's going to be so much more to talk about, so much potential. If we're in the top 4, like in the Champions League, it's just unbelievable. And one thing I want to hit on really quick is I'm 99% sure that if Chelsea were to finish 5th, win the Champions League, that does not eliminate us from finishing.
No. That changed in 2005 because Liverpool finished 5th when they won the Champions League. And then they were saying, how can they have a Champions League with the Champions League not defending it? So then they changed the rule. So basically, if they finish 5th and win the Champions League, they can still enter the Champions League as winners of the Champions League. So we'd have 5 spaces.
Because there's like a guaranteed spot for the Europa League winner and the Champions League winner. And then if like, say there's an overlap, like say Man City win the Champions League and they finish
we don't have to be concerned if Arsenal would have won the Europa League. We could have up to 5 Champions League spaces in this.
That would have been bad. That would have been you're just praying that one of them doesn't do it, because that would have been just rooting for Villarreal and City beyond all measure. But United aren't going to take away a spot by winning the Europa League and finishing second, third.
They won't win the Europa League.
People don't realise how huge getting the Champions League is. I know loads of journalists have said recently, it won't affect Liverpool's transfer plans. But in his last presser, Klopp said it himself. I shared the video with you guys last night. He said it himself. He said Champions League is really important. And
in terms of attracting the biggest names, isn't it? Like, who wants to come and play in the Europa League, really?
I don't think even in that regard. I think if Klopp was up to someone and says, all right, 1 year in the Europa League, but then you got at least 2 more years of me until my contract's done, and we'll be back in the Champions League because our ambitions are higher than that.
More of a financial thing for me.
Exactly. I mean, if more money is better than less money, and that's not a very revolutionary concept about financial management. But if you have more money in the bank account, you can do more.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even the money we get this season; it's the money that we potentially could get next season for Champions League, because I believe you get around £1 million to £500,000 for winning a Champions League group stage match, which is a lot of money.
Yeah, and I mean, you get millions for just entering alone.
Yeah,
I mean, I know Football Manager isn't a great barometer, but if you enter the group stage in the Champions League, you get £13 million.
And not to mention the audiences it would attract, because I don't imagine Liverpool Europa League group stage match will attract a full crowd, but any Champions League game will attract a full crowd at Anfield.
I think Anfield wouldn't struggle to sell out a Europa League game, personally.
No, it wouldn't sell.
I mean, especially because it won't be full capacity for a while, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm thinking full capacity.
I don't think it'd struggle to sell in the sense of a lot of people know that when we're in the Europa League, that's the time to build up European credits on members' cards. So people will buy them. It may look empty, but the tickets would still be sold. So the club would still get the money, even if the fans don't go. If we have some mad team and no one goes, them tickets will still be sold, guaranteed.
So, last thing I want to hit on before we kind of can wrap this up is the Palace game last one of the season. Have they confirmed what percentage capacity is going to be allowed at Anfield?
10,000 fans.
Wow. That's going to be just huge deal.
I hope they put 2.5. I hope they don't put 2.5 in every stand and they just stick 10,000 in the cop and just make it noisy.
That would be hell if it's defend or attack on. You go from like nobody at your Palace to like, oh my god, the cop end is back. Like that'd be just a really rough wake up call, I guess. So 3 matches left. I'm gonna get your boys' predictions. West Brom away, Burnley away, Palace at home. Ben, I'll start with you. How many points are we getting? If it's not 9 points, where are the points being dropped?
I don't do predictions,
But
but on paper we should get 9 points. I mean, let's be honest. We should do it. Touching wood. We have the players. We showed today that we can be mentality monsters still. It's not dead. It's not gone from our system. And if we play like we did today, then I really believe we'll get 9 points.
Maddie, 9 points. I imagine this is going to be a very simple answer for you.
Yeah, we'll get 9 points and we'll score 8 goals in the process.
Each match or total?
Total.
Okay. Because each match, that's a bold call.
But
I think,
I reckon we batter West Brom like 4 or 5-0, and then Palace and who is the other one?
Burnley to the match.
Yeah, they'll be like 2-1s, 2-0, or something like that.
Well, that's going to do it for our live stream today. It was after a huge win. Hoping for 9 more points, which would almost be an amazing set of circumstances if 9 points did not get us into the top 4. But it means that this win today gives us the opportunity to do just that. This has been a live stream on the LFC Transfer Room. For myself, Jack, and for Maddie and for Ben, thank you very much for tuning in after a huge win. Enjoy the rest of your nights, and we'll see you in the next live.